Classics never truly die, they just bide their time until the world remembers how good they really were. Lever actions, battle rifles, wheel guns, etc. Some of the guns we once called outdated, well, they're now selling faster than modern Tupperware stuff like Glocks. So, the question is, how did these vintage legends, some over a century old, manage to claw their way back into the spotlight, outpacing modern designs and fetching jaw-dropping prices? In this video, we'll talk about 9 classic guns making $1 million comeback, some through outrageous boutique restorations, others through sheer practicality and updated guts. You'll hear about semi-auto recreations of full-auto warhorses, a lever gun that takes Glock mags, and a shotgun punching above its weight in duck blinds. One of these guns even went from joke to genius in the hands of hunters working on a budget. Expect deep cuts, high-end craftsmanship, and a few designs that were nearly lost to history. We're not just talking about nostalgia, we're talking about real-world performance that's been modernized and unleashed back onto the market in limited batches. 100+ years after doughboys first carried John Browning's automatic rifle through the mud of the Meuse-Argonne, Ohio Ordnance Works has given that legacy a second life. The 1918 A3 SLR is no parts bin tribute. It's a closed-bolt, semi-automatic clone built on a fresh 4140 billet receiver and topped with walnut that would make any collector grin. Sling it, and you'll feel every ounce of its original bulk, nearly 20 pounds with bipod and loaded 20-round magazine, yet that heft pays off on the range. Browning's buffer system, recreated by Ohio Ordnance, turns 30-06 recoil into a firm shove, not a jab, so the sight picture barely drifts when the trigger breaks. Enthusiasts pony up more than $7,000 for the experience, but they're not just chasing nostalgia. They want a rifle that still runs match-grade accurate after a century of design evolution. The company ships each gun with 2 GI mags, a carrying handle, and a fully adjustable gas system, and every example leaves Chardon, Ohio, test-fired and head-spaced for modern ammunition. Original full-auto BARs fetch $25,000 if you can even find a transferable one, which makes this semi-auto resurrection feel almost practical. Ohio Ordnance's production numbers remain small, so whenever a batch appears, the entire lot sells out in mere days. Collectors, reenactors, and modern marksmen agree on one point. If you missed the last run, get on the notification list because the next one will vanish just as quickly. The original VSSS was a covert action icon, purpose-built for Russian special operators with an integral suppressor and subsonic 9x39 ammo. Import laws and its Soviet origin kept the real thing out of USSS. Hands until BSD Fabworks rolled a prototype onto the SHOT Show floor. The small Utah shop unveiled 2 working samples, one an AR bolt proof of concept, the other a ground-up clone that mirrors the striker-fired 6-lug bolt system of the Russian original. A B&T-made suppressor capped the barrel, and a genuine Russian top cover borrowed from a parts kit showed visitors exactly how close the copy tracks the source. BSD's crew admits they've never produced a full firearm before, yet their samples machining drew curious crowds. They promise a true VSS action, complete with side-folding stock and ambidextrous safety, ready in 9 to 12 months. Skeptics point to stamping challenges and tight tolerances, and even company reps concede the timeline is optimistic, but the allure of a domestically built Ventores remains overwhelming. BSD refuses to take down payments, protecting would-be buyers while they perfect tooling and outsource parts. That decision has only fanned interest. Nobody risks a dime, yet everybody wants updates. If BSD meets its goal, the U.S. market will finally gain access to a rifle that previously existed only in video games and grainy Spetsnaz photos. A lever action that digests polymer Glock mags sounds like a Reddit mock-up, yet Ferox of the United Kingdom built exactly that. The underlever magazine rifle UMR marries 9mm firepower with a spring-assisted lever stroke so fast it feels like a pump shotgun. Forward pressure on the bolt halves, cycling time, and a bolt hold open releases with a fingertip. Flick no fumbling brass bead sights or half-cock hammers. Ferox borrowed from the AR world wherever it made sense. Standard AR 9-barrel and nut, AR trigger cassette, AR mag release button. Even the stock interface takes Remington 870 furniture, so shooters can bolt on mag pull or wood without gunsmith aid. The 16-inch carbine ships threaded 1/2 by 28, ready for suppressor duty, and future calibers span 45 ACP, 30 carbine, and even 223 for markets that restrict semi-autos. The project spent 5 years in the founder's notebook before prototypes emerged at IWA 2025, cycling hundreds of rounds on the show floor. Ferox pegs U.S. retail between $1,600 and $1,800 and plans equal pricing worldwide, betting that modularity and magazine commonality trump tradition. Hunters stuck in straight-wall-only states eye it as a handy brush gun. Pistol-caliber carbine competitors see a lever they can run nearly as quickly as a semi-auto. Production rifles are promised before year's end, yet with interest from distributors on 3 continents. The first runs could disappear quicker than the lever cycles. Jan Lukansky, the mind behind the CZ Scorpion and Lago Alien, wasn't satisfied resting on previous successes. His new Stinger 9 starts with an extruded 60082 T6 aluminum upper locked to a polymer lower so tight. A spring-loaded wedge eliminates any wobble. The gun accepts every generation of Scorpion magazine, but latches on the rear cut to prevent over-insertion, fixing the Evo 3's most common stoppage. Ambidextrous controls combine AR-style buttons and an HK-type paddle, while the charging system offers both an AR rear handle and a non-reciprocating side charger ready for the classic slap. Twist off the handguard secured by 6 Torx bolts and swap barrel assemblies from 16 inches down to 4, each ending in tri-lug or threaded options for suppressors. Internally, the Stinger introduces a tungsten divided matter counterweight that floats inside the bolt. When the bolt smacks the rear trunnion, the tungsten keeps moving, then rebounds into the forward-moving bolt, stretching the recoil impulse and slowing its cyclic rate. On the range, it translates to Scorpion-like weight with MP5-esque smoothness. Early prototypes chewed through a case of 124-grain S&B without a bobble during media demos in Uhersky Broad. Lukansky's first 2,000-unit batch ships worldwide this winter, priced to rival the Strybog and original Scorpion. With ATF import approval pending, American shooters may see pistols in time for SHOT Show 2026, then Form 1 them into SBRs the same afternoon. Momentum is clearly on the Stinger's side. When Colt relaunched the Python in stainless steel 4 years ago, revolver fans cheered the mechanical upgrades but lamented the absence of classic carbon steel. Late last year, Colt answered with a hand-polished, deeply blued Python offered in 6-inch or 4.2 5-inch barrels. The new frame retains the 30% thicker top strap introduced on the stainless model, adding strength without changing the iconic vent rib silhouette. Walnut stocks wear gold pony medallions, and an updated transfer bar system keeps modern drop safety lawyers appeased. Review samples show double-action pulls around 11 pounds and single-action just north of 5 crisp, consistent, and smoother than most vintage examples straight from the factory. Range tests with 357 Magnum loads consistently achieve 1.5-inch groups at 25 yards, and 38 special target ammo prints even tighter. At an MSRP of $15.99, the revolver costs half of what an original 1970s Python commands in decent condition, so the entire first production wave sold before cases cooled. Dealers list them at premiums, yet buyers still queue because this isn't merely a cosmetic reissue. Colt engineers tweaked lockwork geometry, widened the cylinder stop, and cut the barrel threads with modern CNC tolerances, eliminating the forcing cone cracks that plagued high round count classics. The civilian marksmanship program has shipped surplus Garands for decades, yet supply ebbed so low some collectors feared the pipeline went dry. January 2025 proved otherwise. CMP opened another run of service-grade rifles at $1,900 for 30-06 or 308 conversions, with customers allowed up to 12 surplus rifles per year. Each example arrives head-spaced, cleaned, and packed in a custom foam-lined box, 1 hard case per buyer included annually. Stocks range from battle-scarred birch to crisp walnut. Metal shows honest arsenal parkerizing. Most rifles are mix masters rebuilt during Cold War overhauls, but that history adds character rather than detracting from performance. Garand matches flourish nationwide, and these shipments replenish firing lines with legal, historic steel. CMP still warns against modern hot rod 30-06 loads. Keep bullet weight under 174 grains and pressure below 50,000 CUP to preserve the op rod. Follow that advice And the 70-plus-year-old rifle will ping 8-round clips with mechanical reliability that modern semi-autos envy. Value appreciates the moment. FedEx hands over the box. Online auctions already show these rifles bringing hundreds more than CMP's price. Each sale funds youth marksmanship programs. So, buying a Garand supports the next generation of shooters while connecting owners to a storied past. Franchi operates under Benelli's corporate umbrella, sharing the same inertia-driven guts that made the Super Black Eagle famous. The Affinity 3 costs roughly $850, but it patterns tighter than several Benellis triple its price. In 12-gauge, the Affinity threw 124 pellets of a 140-pellet Federal Speed Shock load into a 30-inch circle at 35 yards. That 70-30 point of impact suits descending mallards perfectly. With a 28-inch chrome-lined barrel, fiber optic front bead, and a TSA recoil pad, the gun remains light enough for dawn walk-ins, yet gentle on the shoulder. Controls include an oversized charging handle and a beveled loading port. Reliability mirrors Benelli's legendary reputation because the heart of the action is the same rotating bolt inertia system. Field stripping requires one pin to drop the trigger group. Then the bolt slides forward. Cleaning takes minutes in a muddy blind. Variants span black synthetic, bottomland, walnut, and a women-specific catalyst stock with higher comb. Waterfowlers who dismissed Franchi as second tier now reconsider after their premium guns miss-cycle frozen shells while the Affinity keeps firing. As shotgun MSRP creep pushes flagship models near $2,000, the Affinity's under $1,000 street price feels like a flashback to simpler times without sacrificing modern performance. Alchemy Custom Weaponry's Restamod series channels hot rod car culture, and the Fat Man Double Stack 45 is its wildest creation. Only 25 pistols left the shop in 2024, each built on a 2011-style grip module, yet styled to resemble a Remington Rand M1911A1 fresh from the Pacific Theater. Hard Blast DLC coats the hand-fit slide and frame, while vertical serrations and Harrison retro sights keep the GI vibe. Inside, a match-grade 5-inch barrel and polished ignition parts break at 3.5 pounds. The proprietary grip panels receive a bakelite orange Cerakote, evoking wartime phenolic without the risk of shattering. Magazines hold 11 rounds flush, 13 with the extended base plate, a super weapon capacity compared to the original 7. Alchemy packages each pistol with an engraved dog tag certificate, 2 short mags, 1 long, and a 1.5-inch at 25 yards accuracy guarantee. The playful marketing narrative claims Browning drew the design as a secret war-ending project codenamed Fat Man. Yet satire aside, shooters snapped up every example at $4,500 within hours. Secondary market chatter shows offers north of $6,000 despite zero extra engraving or gold inlay. It isn't hype. Range videos reveal flat recoil, consistent ejection, and true-to-legacy styling. Once gone, they're gone, making the Fat Man the epitome of boutique comeback. Old soul, new bones, microscopic production. The Fat Man's price tags north of $4,000 contrast sharply with our finale, a deer rifle so affordable. Hunters joke it costs less than a weekend gas bill. If you've been itching for a Thompson Center Contender carbine, maybe you can scratch that itch with Rossi's LWC. It delivers break-action simplicity for roughly $300, making it the cheapest new deer rifle on the market. A steel receiver overmolded with polymer anchors, a 16.6-inch barrel threaded 5/8 by 24, perfect for a suppressor. In 350, legend legal for straight wall states, this single shot can average 1.6-inch, 5-shot groups at 100 yards across 20 groups and 6 different ammo loads. Barnes' 170-grain TSX shrank that to 1.3 inches, beating many bolt guns more than twice the price. A mechanical extractor lifts brass just enough for fingers to pluck. The shooter then drops the next round into the breech. Cock the hammer, flick the crossbolt safety, and the rifle measures only 32 inches overall, ideal for ladder stands and cramped blinds. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. The polymer furniture feels hollow. The barrel release lever is plain molded plastic, and its black oxide finish begs for oil in humid weather. However, controls remain intuitive, and the trigger breaks under 4 pounds with minimal creep. Owners strip stock length for kids, spray bomb camo, and still worry less than they would scratching a premium walnut rig. And with multiple chamberings, 357 Magnum, 44 Magnum, 5.56, 300 Blackout, even 8.6 Blackout, you can take your pick. And those are 9 classic guns making a huge comeback. So, which one do you think deserves the title of the greatest comeback story? Would you spend $4 grand on a boutique 1911? Or grab a Rossi LWC for budget deer season domination? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear what you shoot, stash, or show off. Don't forget to hit like, share this video with your gun crew, subscribe for more, and click that bell icon so you don't miss what's next. Thanks for tuning in.